Breaking news exclusive: The Forgotten Truth: How Money Was Engineered as the Ultimate Tool of Human Enslavement. Good evening. This is your reporter, stepping beyond the headlines to expose one of the most profound deceptions in human history. For centuries, we've been told that money was a natural invention, a convenient solution born from chaotic barter systems that supposedly plagued our ancestors. But the evidence, drawn from archaeological records, anthropological studies, and historical texts verifiable in any university library or peer-reviewed source, tells a far darker story. Money was never a necessity. It was deliberately invented and imposed by ruling elites as a mechanism of control and dominance. Once integrated as the mandatory medium of exchange, it trapped humanity in a web of dependency from which escape seemed impossible. Even though our forebears thrived for millennia in moneyless societies built on mutual aid, skill sharing, and communal abundance. Let us begin with the invention itself. The conventional economic narrative claims money evolved organically from barter around 6000 BCE, solving the double coincidence of wants problem. This is a myth, thoroughly dismantled by anthropologist David Graeber in his seminal work, Debt: The First 5,000 Years, 2011, a book grounded in cross-cultural historical analysis from Sumerian clay tablets to medieval records. Graeber and supporting historians demonstrate that early human economies operated on credit and reciprocal obligations, informal IOUs based on trust and social bonds, not primitive haggling. True coined money emerged not in marketplaces, but in the 7th, 6th centuries BCE in the Kingdom of Lydia, modern-day Turkey. King Croesus and his predecessors minted gold and silver coins primarily to pay mercenary armies and enforce taxation. As documented in historical analyses of ancient empires, rulers required taxes to be paid exclusively in these new coins. Citizens had no choice but to accept them from soldiers in exchange for goods and services, creating artificial demand. This military coinage slave complex, as Graeber terms it, was no accident. It transformed debt from a flexible social relation into a quantifiable tool of state power. The hidden motives were crystal clear: control and dominance. Ancient rulers, from Mesopotamian temple priests to Greek and Roman emperors, faced the challenge of mobilizing labor and resources without constant coercion. Money solved this by monetizing obligations. Clay tablets from Mesopotamia around 3000 BCE already recorded debts in standardized units, shekels of silver, but these were accounting tools for temple redistributions, not universal currency. Coins escalated this into empire building. Taxes funded wars, soldiers spent coins locally, forcing integration into the system. Later colonial powers replicated this playbook, imposed money taxes to compel indigenous populations into wage labor on plantations or mines. As one economic historian notes, rulers issued to soldiers because the rulers decreed that citizens needed the coins to pay their taxes. The result? A populace dependent on the very system that extracted their surplus. Without money, no taxes could be paid, no armies sustained, no centralized power maintained. It was never about facilitating trade. Barter and credit had sufficed for centuries. It was about turning free communities into taxable, controllable subjects. Now, consider the evidentiary proof that money was never needed. Ancient civilizations that not only survived, but thrived without it. Take the Inca Empire, circa 1438 to 1533 CE, one of history's largest and most sophisticated states, spanning 2,500 miles across the Andes. No coins, no markets, no currency whatsoever. Instead, the Incas operated on the mita system, a labor tax where able-bodied citizens contributed set periods of work to state projects, building 25,000 miles of roads, terrace agriculture that fed millions, and monumental architecture. In return, the state provided food, clothing, housing, and chicha, corn beer, from vast warehouses. Archaeological and Spanish chronicler records confirm this moneyless economy eliminated poverty and famine on a scale unmatched by contemporary European societies. Citizens hunted, harvested, or crafted according to their skills. Farmers shared surplus produce. Carpenters built shelters. Weavers provided cloth, all coordinated through communal reciprocity and state oversight. No one lacked. The empire's 10 to 12 million people were sustained by collective labor and redistribution. Historians describe it as a proto-communist system where labor itself was the currency of value. Ancient Egypt offers another irrefutable case. For over 3,000 years of pharaonic rule, there were no coins or paper money. Workers on the pyramids or farms were compensated in rations of grain, beer, oil, and goods, a sophisticated barter redistribution system managed by temples and the state. The Shemsu Hor, following of Horus, census assessed livestock and produce for taxation in kind, not cash. Communities thrived through skill-based mutual support. Hunters provided meat, harvesters shared crops, artisans traded labor for shelter. Egypt built the pyramids, irrigated the Nile Valley, and maintained social stability without a single legal tender. Mesopotamian city-states similarly relied on temple-led credit systems and gift economies long before coins. Even prehistoric hunter-gatherer bands and indigenous societies worldwide, from Pacific Northwest potlatch ceremonies to African and Native American tribes, operated on gift-giving and mutual aid. Skills defined contribution. One member hunted, another wove, another healed. Anthropological evidence shows these groups experienced no systemic lack because resources and labor were shared reciprocally, not commodified. As Kropotkin documented in Mutual Aid, 1902, drawing from historical records, such cooperation was humanity's evolutionary strength. Contrast this with today. Modern civilization has been engineered for total monetary dependency. Need food? Buy it. Healthcare? Pay premiums or face debt. Transportation? Fuel? Vehicles? Licenses? All monetized. Shelter? Rent or mortgage, or face eviction. Governments and courts enforce this through taxes, fines, bail, and licenses payable only in fiat currency. Central banks and corporations dictate value, inflating costs while wages stagnate. Without money, you cannot participate. A deliberate design echoing ancient tax coin systems, but scaled globally. Elites control the masses. Miss a payment, lose your home. Protest the system, face financial ruin via courts. This is not freedom. It is engineered servitude. As Graeber observed, markets founded on state violence turn humans into debtors, not autonomous beings. The conspiracy is not theory. It is documented fact. Money was implanted not to help humanity rise, but to enslave it. Ancient communities proved self-sufficiency through skills and support. No one starved because the hunter fed the carpenter, who sheltered the weaver. Once money became mandatory, self-reliance died. Governments gained leverage over labor, corporations over consumption. The populace, once abundant in moneyless harmony, now scrambles for scraps in a system that demands participation to survive. This evidence, from Sumerian tablets to Inca quipus, Graeber's cross-millennia analysis to Egyptian papyri, cannot be denied upon deep research. It is in books, museums, and scholarly journals worldwide. The question remains, will we awaken to the truth or remain chained to the very currency that was forged to bind us? The ancestors thrived without it. So can we. This has been your reporter, urging you to question the system that controls us all. Stay vigilant.